Alright guys, as you can see it snowed out. I just took the plow off the pickup truck. I hate plowing. But tomorrow we gotta go do a stump job. But the last job I was on, I just pulled the machine out of there, but these tooth caps always come off. Now, I've experimented with different ways of doing these, and so far this one here, I put a weld on the top and down the side, and then I'm just gonna cut it later on. So far this one has not fallen off, and this one here, I actually put a bolt through it. You can see on the bottom that the head is kind of like peened over. Now, this was an experiment. I bought this machine used, and I've been slowly fixing it up. It was pretty abused when I got it. The door didn't even shut. They like mangled the door. Stop it. But what I've been doing is I've been experimenting with different ways of keeping these teeth on. Now, what I found the best is welding. It's just more work to get it off when you have to get it off. I get these teeth from John Deere, and the reason why I get these teeth from John Deere and not Komatsu, because this is actually a Komatsu PC40 MR-2. People always ask me because I don't have any what's the word? Stickers on it. I don't have any stickers on it. So people always ask me, hey, is that a John Deere? Because where I live, a lot of people around here have John Deere minis, because we have a dealer here and they have Cat. John Deere, Cat, Bobcat, and Takeuchi, because those are the dealers we have around here. Oh, and there's Case, but we're not going to talk about that. Welding works the best, definitely stays on, but when they wear down, this one's been on since I welded it, but when it wears down, I'm going to have to, grind it and then put the other one on and then probably put a new one on and then probably weld it down. You can see that's a corner one, so it's rounded quite a bit. I guess that's not a big problem. The only reason why I'm not welding the rest of these on right now is because I don't have the welder. So my welders are all 220, and I took them apart because I'm waiting on engineering and permitting for my garage that I want to build, but it's taking forever, so I don't have a welder. So the next best method I found was the bolt, because it just wears the head down, and the bolt seems to be pretty strong. Now, I'll show you where I keep the spare teeth in here. Now, like I said, I bought this machine used, and I really like the sliding door, but when I bought this machine, they had banged up this door really bad. This was all stuffed in. I'm not a body man. I mean, someday when I get a shop, I'll play with it more. But the hinge, they broke the hinge off in here. It's got a rolly hinge. Right in there, that thing goes under and has a greased roller and it rolls. And I like the door because it just slides back like that and it stays in that position. I don't care too much about the floor mats. I throw them out anyways because they just hold dirt and everything. What I'm gonna do is this summer I'm gonna line this. Usually with my machines, I had a friend that worked at Line-X, and they will Line-X stuff like that with or without the grit. But I banged this all back. I had to re-weld this bottom corner, re-tap the threads in here, and put this back on. And then I put this little grippy thing here. It's all dirty from me sweeping out the machine. But I put this little piece of grip here because I found that I was standing here. It's like a stick-on rubber grip, because I was standing here or my feet was bumping here and wearing the paint off. But these are the pins. See, I guess they are John Deere. Well, I don't know who manufactured them, but I get them from John Deere. But these are the pins that fall out all the time. And you can see it's just a rolled piece of metal. It's a roll, like a roll. I don't know. You call it a roll pin. I don't know. I call it a roll pin because it's just a rolled up piece of sheet metal. It kind of sucks. Especially if you're digging in rocks, they loosen up and everything. But right in here, under the seat, where the fuses are, it's all dusty and everything. I keep spare teeth. So it's a JD and then TX156. So, see, China. Made in China. And then this, stupid roll pin goes in there. And look at, they're like loose. But when they go through the shank, they're kind of tight. So the end's tapered. So I keep spare teeth in there. Somebody asked me, a friend of mine that was working with me, he said, why don't you just change all the teeth? And I said, my method is buy a set of teeth, and when one falls off, change it. Because they usually don't wear down, they fall off. So, I mean, if you don't have spares and you're out digging and one falls off, now you're digging with the shank, which you don't want to do because then you change the shape of the shank, and then your new tooth, when you do get the new tooth, is going to be flopping around because you're going to be wearing down the shank. So what I like to do is replace them as they fall off, because I'll get a new one out here and show you. I'll show you real quick. So this is the one that just fell off, okay? And this is a new one. Not much difference, okay? So my theory is, if I replace all of these every time one fell off with the whole set, then I'm on a job and one falls off, now I have no spares. Then I have to go buy one. But if I keep the spares, and let's say one falls off and I can't find it. I did find this one, right? You put the new one on and look it. It's not that much of a difference in length. Now, if you was to take the rest of these off every time one fell off, you're throwing money away, because look how much, you can go all the way down to here. So if I said, all right, this one fell off, now I'm going to replace all of these. Well, what happens is look at how much. That's a new one. This is a used one. You'd be throwing all this out, and then you'd be on a job, and another one would fall off. You'd have no other one. Then you'd be wearing on the shank, and it wouldn't fit tight. See how it's like tight? So anyways, that's why I try to find the tooth and keep a set of new ones as spares. So I'm gonna for now, until I get the welder done, we're gonna bang out this pin, and we are going to put in a new pin. And just so you know, just to give you an idea, I am all out of pins, but I still have teeth. So what does that tell you? The pins are the problem. So I don't know. I kind of like the bolt because the better than the welding. Although the welding is nice because the thing never wiggles, and it doesn't take much just to grind off the weld. So you can see, look down in there, how like the centers of those roll pins turn, so it's like you gotta try and hit the edge. I might sacrifice this punch because I got a bunch, and just flip it upside down. And that worked.
Right there.
So I'll show you real quick. this is what happens with these. The pin, you can see how it's cracked right in there. I can stick my fingernail in it. This material that they make these pins is not very strong. So you know, you're pulling on the tooth and you get into some rocks or something or stumps and it just breaks these pins off. So did he just bring you a frozen piece of dirt?
It's a frozen piece of dirt, yeah.
Dude, you have an addiction.
It's a frozen clump of dirt. He just needs me to throw something.
Stop. Seek help. You need help. Anyways, you take the I take like the wire brush before I do it, and I just kind of clean up any dirt. Then a lot of times in that tooth there's impacted dirt in there, so that's what I do, is I just take it upside down, tap it, and this is what is in there. And you can see how this piece of dirt fits perfect on the end of the shank. That's about how much gap is in between the inside of the tooth and the shank. So when you're digging in dirt with these, they get packed full of dirt and it helps them stay on. But a lot of times what happens is when you switch to digging rocks or moving rocks around or stumps, anything that, you know, really bangs on the tooth, what happens is you loosen up this dirt on the, you know, down the sides, and the tooth starts to wiggle and then breaks the pin. So the dirt helps actually hold the tooth cap on. Alright guys, it started raining out, so I had to put the dog in the house, otherwise he'll stink really bad if I don't keep him dry. And he gets baths a lot, but he's not the easiest to take a bath. He doesn't like water. Anyways, all you do is just pound this pin in. And that's pretty much it. I might split the difference. See how they wiggle? The welded one doesn't wiggle. Well, that's it for that part. Alright guys, so here's the thing about this excavator is a PC40MR-2 Komatsu. A lot of people think it's a John Deere because around here there is well, a lot of people around here think it's a John Deere because around here we have a lot of John Deere equipment. There's a good dealer around here. I got this machine used. I saw it. It was actually at the Case dealer. It was a trade-in. It was pretty well banged up. It had 3,800 hours on it, so just under 4,000 hours on it. All of the panels were all banged in. My brother and I hammer and dollied all of the panels out because we used to paint automotively in high school, and we painted my last business that I had. We painted all of our trucks, so we do paint, but our friend sold his shop, so we can't rent the shop off of him no more. I mean, I guess we could rent somewhere else, but anyways, I bought it because I had the money. It was there. I paid cash for it. I buy everything used. I try to find the scratch and dent price with low hours. Usually the stuff like this you can find from like a big company where it has low hours, but the operators just banged into everything. And if you're willing to put the work in, you know, I paid $26,500 for it. So there you go. And it came with brand new tracks when I got it. So the only thing I didn't like was I did change the thumb. The thumb was terrible. It was like just a piece of box tubing, like straight stick. So you couldn't grab anything with it. So I did re-weld and work the thumb. Now, when I bought this, believe it or not, this might sound crazy. I didn't have a lot of experience with mini excavators, to tell you the truth. I didn't have a lot of time in mini excavators. Why? Because my background is all very large excavators. You know, a small excavator, when I was, you know, back working at a job, to me a small excavator would be considered like a 314 or a 312. Like the standard around here was always like a Cat 315. You know, after I got out of high school and went to work for a large construction company, you know, 315 Cat machines in like John Deere 160s and like the 160 class, that was like your base machine around here. And that pretty much, you know, there's neighborhoods here that are basically built up from that. And a lot of guys had 312s too, like Cat 312s. But I really didn't play with the mini excavators a lot before I bought this. And I was excited that when I saw this, because it was a Komatsu, because the last company I worked for, I think he has like 15 excavators. So he's got a bunch of Cats, but the machines I really like, my favorite was the Komatsu 160. I did all kinds of stuff with that when I was there. Then he had two 228s, 0 turns. Those are phenomenal. And then he has the big boy that's in, I got a video called 20,000 pound counterweight or whatever. It's the outro. It's the machine that's in my outro at the end of the videos, the Volvo 480. You got to take the counterweight off to legally move it. And I think you're supposed to do the bucket, but we never we never did. Anyways, so I think he actually has since traded, I've heard, since traded that Volvo in and replaced it with Komatsu, a big Komatsu, that he doesn't have to take the counterweight off to move it, I guess. So, like I said, all I knew was when I bought this machine was that I really like Komatsu machines. I've always run John Deere Cats. I ran a case excavator one time. We were tearing down a house, and I hated it. Hated it. It had some sensor where every time we would slam the beam to break the wood, it would automatically throttle down and some light would come on, impact light or something. I'm not a fan of case. It is what it is. John Deere, I grew up, my dad's friend had a construction company. I grew up with John Deere, but then when I got out of high school and I went to work for the big construction company, they had all Caterpillar stuff. And I like Caterpillar stuff. Then the last large company I had worked for, because I've worked for quite a that's what you do, you know. You get in, you go for somebody offers you a job, you go, and that's the only way you get a raise. You know, every time you go to get a new job, rule of thumb, apply for a new job if they're offering it to you, and I always get job offers and tack $2 more on than the last job. And because where I live, guys don't give raises. They just don't. Instead, they buy fancy equipment. So the last place I worked at, large company, I believe he had like 15 excavators. I drove the low bed. I moved them around a lot. I liked the tie-down points on the Komatsus. The Komatsus always started great in the freezing cold. They were quiet inside the cabs. I just really like the Komatsu. I'm a big fan of it. Some of them are a little tippy. It really depends. Like I said, he had two 228 Komatsus, and one of them I liked better than the other one, even though they were supposed to be twins. So I don't know what's up with that. But anyways, enough about that. Alright guys, so the reason my excavator and my chipper is painted blue, bright blue, and soon to be my skid steer, I've only had that for a year. I was hoping to get it painted this winter, but the garage thing hasn't. It's been on hold because of permitting and plant stuff. And my truck's going to get painted the same color. Everything's going to get painted the same color and lettered and everything because I live in a highly saturated area and it's pretty competitive. So I feel like anything that gets me noticed will get me that many more estimates, because like let's say you do 10 estimates, you might get 2 jobs. You know, everywhere I go, like the last job I was on, I was the middle guy. They took the middle number, but there was like 3 or 4 other guys bidding on the job. So my wife, when I had my old business, I really liked black. You know, I liked the black trucks, and I used to buy them red because the market's saturated with red trucks, and then I would paint them black and then letter them, and they just blended in. Like there wasn't nothing stood out, nothing really separated you from anyone else. So I said to her, I got to do something, and she said, oh, paint it hot pink. That'll paint everything pink. And she's been telling me for years, I tell you, you should paint everything pink. And I don't know why I'm doing that voice and making fun of her. She doesn't talk like that, and she's really smart, so shame on me for that. But she said, paint everything pink, hot pink. You'll definitely get noticed. And I go, yeah, but I don't want that kind of recognition. So I'm not, I don't know. Nah. So I was thinking of what color to do. Well, here's the thing. When I was in high school, I painted my pickup truck, and the paint color got messed up, and it came out like that. And because my wife and I, we had just had our first son. I had him very young. I met my wife when I was 12. We dated all through high school sweethearts, I guess. So the story about that is I worked at this towing company, towing cars, and there was a body shop, and I went to paint my pickup truck, and the paint was like messed up. It was like old or outdated paint, and we mixed it, and it came out wrong, and it came out like this color. And I was mad at first, but then everybody loved it. And when I drove to high school, and my pickup stood out and everything and all that, and you know, stupid teenage crap. So my wife found out she was pregnant with our first son, and all my buddies at the towing yard, because my truck was blue, from then on they just called me Papa Smurf all the time, because my truck was Smurf blue and I was about to be a new dad. So for like a year they called me Papa Smurf. So I said to her, I don't think I'm going to do the pink. Well, I know I'm not going to do the pink, but I said maybe I'm going to do the color of my pickup in high school. So that's the color of my pickup truck. I had a F-150, 5-speed, rear-wheel drive, non-4-wheel drive, inline six, fuel-injected pickup truck. It was a 1990, and I got it, and it was beat up, and I fixed it up. Just like everything I have. Everything I have is a fixer-upper. I don't buy anything new right now, because the winters are long here, and there's just not a lot going on. So, anyways, that's a little bit about why my stuff is blue, because everybody keeps asking. And we're gonna go dig some stumps out tomorrow.